This conference will now be recorded.
Well, hello. Here we are on Leave a Legacy Ahead. And I've been asked a little bit about why ahead and not behind. And I'm hoping after today, I will be able to answer that question about what it means. Because to me, again, it's about this mindset and this perspective of, of a word and how important the words are that we use, and how important it is that instead of thinking about what we're leaving behind, but what are we leaving ahead for our clients? What are we leaving ahead for the world and in our community? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. I have asked myself a similar question to this more times than I care to admit. I am often asking myself, why am I here? And where am I going? I ask myself that a lot. Where am I going? Maybe some of us might even say a little bit around the why bother? Why are we doing this? And I wish I could tell you that I had all the answers to this and that I feel that I'm completely fulfilling my purpose. I have a purpose, but am I fully embodied in it? Have I totally made it? That is a really difficult thing. I just don't want us to I want actually us to be okay with all the questions that we might have left. There's beauty in that. There's beauty in having questions and not being sure. And when I was writing the final chapter of Wellness Incorporated, this is the chapter where I carried quite a bit of unresolvedness and sometimes even feelings of shame and regret. And I don't want to say those are bad things either, because all those feelings continue to teach me something and to keep me curious. And I was journaling the other day as to what is it that our work ultimately is. And I think our work ultimately is us staying curious and being compassionate in it. Not just compassionate for the clients that we're serving as health entrepreneurs, but compassionate and gentle to ourselves. And I'm hoping that at the end of reading this book and being a part of this hub, that's what you can carry with you, as well as all the great ideas and all the great strategies that we have. So the two most important days of your life are the days that you're born and the day you find out why. And I can't tell you when that day is going to be, but it'll be sometime. So where this all came from around leaving a legacy ahead started early in my career. Guys, I'm going to stand up and close my door. Can you hear all that construction going on? I'm just going to close a window. Be right back. Okay, is that a little bit better? Sorry. Okay, so because I want to tell you about Gwen, and some of you will have heard about Gwen before because I talk about her in my keynotes and in my training sessions and in my books. So because I think this was a really valuable moment, and hopefully you can feel how important these stories can be. So I met Gwen in palliative care. And when you are working with people who are dying imminently, really soon, there is a sense of holiness, honor that happens during those times when you're sitting with people. Their truths come out, their needs come out, and they're just so much more every moment is that much more meaningful. And as I was being called to Gwen's room, she said, Jen, I hear you're the music therapist here. I am wondering if you could come back on Friday at 2:00. And I could tell she was a woman with a mission and a plan and a purpose. And so, of course, I said yes. And I was turning to walk out the door when she says, oh, and can you learn these 12 songs? And that was my introduction into someone who had 12 signature songs. And just as an aside, I talk about this with all my clients. I talk about this with the music therapist I talk to. We all have so much music in our lives. Curating it down to your 12 signature songs can be a real powerful exercise for a lot of us, or your 12 signature albums, or your 12 signature favorite artists, whatever you want to do. But it's in the curating down that can be pretty powerful. And so I went back. Luckily, I knew most of the songs. I came back to the Gwen's room on that Friday at 2:00, but she wasn't alone. On one side of her was her daughter. On the other side of her was her sister. And she also had some canvas and she had paints. And she said, as Jen is singing my first signature song, I'm going to start painting. And when I move to my second, I'm going to pass it to you, my daughter, and you're going to continue the painting. And on the third song, I'm going to pass it to you, my sister, and then you will continue the painting. And at the end of it was this curated group of 12 signature songs, and they were able to be put onto a CD and shared with every person that would come to her funeral 6 weeks later. This was the image that they ended up on, that we were able to screen onto the CD. The reason I tell this story is because the level of planning that went into this, the level of consideration, intent, meaningfulness ahead, thinking that eventually these people were going to have this CD of hers to take with them from her funeral, a legacy. That story alone goes through my mind so often as I plan, because I want to have Gwen's intention and Gwen's meaningfulness. We're always going to hit roadblocks. We're always going to hit obstacles as we're going through our journey. What I'm hoping is that the 9 steps that I've put together in this book, as we have gone through it together, will help you with the decision-making process. If we keep coming back to knowing that entrepreneurs and health entrepreneurs will have decisions all the time, in how we plan, in how we move forward, we'll always have decisions incorporated into that. It's in your decision making that the difference will be had as to what kind of organization you have, what kind of business you have, what kind of clients you have, what kind of vendors you're associating with. All those decisions will matter. And yes, you're always going to hit a barrier. And I know you've already read it. You know, don't think of barriers as barriers, think of them as opportunities. Let's face it, when a barrier strikes, it's really quite painful. And we say no, and we get so frustrated. I want you to honor that too, because you're allowed to be frustrated and you're allowed to feel struggles during the moment. And you're allowed to feel exhausted because you're going to have to make so many decisions in order to cut that tree down so you can move forward. Or you're going to have to go another, 20 kilometers away in order to get around that tree. So whatever you're going to have to do, yeah, it's not always going to be the most pleasant, but it is a bit about what this life's about, and they are going to strike us. The good news is we're all doing it. We're all hitting obstacles. Nobody, no matter how good their Facebook page looks, we're all doing this, and it's all really, really tough. And so if there's some comfort, just envision some of your hubsters beside you going through it too. And we can reach out to each other when we need to. I got to tell you where I just was. Yep, I was literally in Vegas last weekend. I went to Vegas, and I went predominantly to see Celine Dion in her final weekend. And yes, I feel completely spoiled. But that's why I went down there to see her on Saturday night. Her final concert was on Sunday. 1 hour before Lady Gaga's concert, the friends I went with, we all looked at each other and said, do we go? We happened to get tickets for an incredibly reasonable price, and we went to see Lady Gaga too. And yes, Tony Bennett came on stage. And yes, it was absolutely amazing. The music was amazing. The outfits were amazing. Everything about it was amazing. And I was celebrating every second on how fortunate I was to be there. I was also thinking about today's class, and I thought about it all weekend as I was there. What does this mean? Because as you're watching someone like Celine Dion, 16 years in Vegas. Did you guys know that? I didn't realize it was 16 years in Vegas. And I was quite impressed about the energy and longevity that she was able to show. And then with Lady Gaga, brand new. This is like the beginning of her pop shows and also her jazz show. The one I went to was her jazz and piano show, where she also did breakdown versions of her pop songs. And I just thought about, what does this mean, leaving a legacy ahead? And Lady Gaga said something incredibly poignant that I want to share with you, which was that when she's working with Tony, you might think that it's Tony passing the torch. She says, but Tony was very, very quick to say, no, I am not passing any torch. I am just holding my torch up high so it shines light on you. I want you to think about that for a minute. I want you to think about your business as one that can hold a torch up high and shine light on others. I want you to think about that as your own selves. How do you show up and hold your torch up high? Amazing. So the activities that we are looking to go to today. And I have put the workbook up, and I would like you to slowly work through this last part because it's very, very important. But the first one that you've probably seen me talk about on social media is about finding a mantra for yourself, a saying, a poem, something that sticks with you. During one of my most challenging years, that was the year that I was telling you that staff were leaving all of a sudden. And I was grappling for a whole bunch of things in my business. I couldn't put all the pieces together. And I honestly didn't think that I could do it much further than as far as I'd gone. I started joking that I was going to go work at Reitman's because I didn't know what else I was even skilled to do. And it was before I went back to school. My kids were in junior high. I really was at a loss. And it was this mantra: you don't have to have it all figured out to move forward, that got me through. I have kept that mantra my entire rest of my career now. Even though I've had other mantras, that's the one I keep coming back to. I have no idea who wrote it. I have no idea who said it. I don't know if I came up with it, but this is what the meme is for me, that I don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. This year, because I still like coming up with new mantras all the time, and you may have seen this on Instagram, is that I want to see it big, but keep it simple. I am not someone, you saw that big tree that was lying across the road. I am not someone who puts myself in front of obstacles or puts myself into a situation to challenge myself very often. I'm ultimately a real wuss. I really am. I do like keeping my life simple. I don't like making waves. And I also believe that people like me might not always learn as much as others that just go into the fire and hit in the flame. But because I'm a bit of a wuss, I have had to realize that where I gain a lot of my understanding and knowledge is paying attention to what's around me more. Because if I'm also a wuss, but I also stay within myself and just focus on what I need and what I want, I don't think I'm going to learn too much either. So I really need to pay attention. And I've been so fortunate to be able to be in the profession I am, where I do have a lot of clients who teach me a lot of things every day, and I continue to learn. So if you're a wuss like me, one of my little side points is make sure then that you pay a lot of attention to what's happening outside of you, so you can keep learning from the people that are going through the fire and going through the flame. If you're someone who goes right into the fire and you've got lots of drama happening to you all the time, first of all, thank you for teaching me as you're going through it. But you also do it with such courage, and there are things in that I admire in you very, very much. But here's your first thing: come up with a mantra. What do you need? What words do you need to hear? We've been talking a lot that the words matter. So figure out what you need and what words you're going to need for this year, or for maybe 5 years, or a long period of time. Your mantra. The other thing I want you to consider is a letter of wishes. I didn't realize this was almost a legal thing. I went to an estate planner many years ago when my business was at a certain point where I was hiring people as employees. And I started realizing that as an incorporation, I had a certain responsibility that if something happened to me, what's going to happen to my business? So I went to an estate planner to find out more. And what I learned, both from my personal and professional, is that because I am the sole shareholder in my company, so I am incorporated, but I'm the 100% shareholder, that again, if something happens to me, there's not a lot of control of what's going to happen to the company afterwards because I'm gone. But there are steps that I can take for the succession planning, which we're going to talk more about in just a minute. And one of those things is to do a letter of wishes. And so writing a letter to someone you care about, it could, if you're just a solopreneur, it could be a family member, it might even be your executor, but a letter of wishes of what you would like to happen to your business, your clients. It could even be that you want just a letter written to all of your clients, saying what has happened to you, or the vendors, letting people know where you've gone. For me, I have more of a letter of wishes that I want everyone to keep my business going. in the way they see fit. They do not have to follow what I have wanted for my company. They can do it with whatever now the world is needing, making the decisions based on the principles that hopefully by that point I have helped them learn because I am raising up leaders. But doing a letter of wishes may also be a really nice activity for you. It also just puts, again, some meaning into the fact that you're leaving something ahead, no matter what your work is. Then there's some practical things. So let's just go through these. These are also listed in the book, but I thought we could go through these today during our final look of chapter 9. So make sure in a letter somewhere, in a will, along with your will, and everybody, it doesn't matter how old you are, please have a will done, always. But in that, just have a piece of paper about your business and the location of all your necessary papers, because it's so important for the people that are going through your stuff after you're gone to have an idea where they are. Both my kids know exactly where things are, and so does my one staff, but I'm realizing I actually need to let all my staff know where it is, because who knows who's going to be around at the time. It's amazing how many items you may need to share with people, but no one knows where they are. I just had a good friend whose dad passed away. He's left no will. And it's been really challenging on the two kids to figure it all out. And I don't want that for anybody as we leave our legacy ahead. So that includes all your business papers, incorporation papers, insurance information, maybe some important information about some clients' information you might need there. Keep in mind that if you're a sole proprietor right now, the business closes. But that doesn't mean your clients, they're going to have to find someone else to work with. So a letter from you might be a nice thing to leave. And so some form of plan and legacy ahead. And I'm so sorry if this is feeling morbid. I really hope it's not. I think it's a beautiful thing. To know that at some point we're all going to pass. And I know none of us want to go. I don't want to go ever. I think it's unfortunate, but we do. It's really the circle of life moment. And the more we plan, maybe also the more we can feel comforted that things are taken care of when we go. Remember about your financial statements and access to accounts. Oh, the passwords, all the passwords, including social media. Make sure somebody knows about those. I don't know how that's all going to work out. Isn't it weird? The social media accounts and all these things are going to be there. Just do the best you can. So people are able to find and put things in place. Insurance and lease information. So in my case, I lease a building. And so that information needs to be available to people and the contact and who to let know, because my lease might not be up when I go, right? So just other things to consider. Update your policies and procedures. If you do have someone who is going to be taking over your business, or deciding not to, just that they always have a sense as to what's going on and what your wishes are for the company. That can come in your detailed letter of wishes. Client files. As entrepreneurs, as health entrepreneurs in particular, we've got a lot of privacy considerations with this. So you're going to have to do some work as to what happens if you no longer can access your client files and someone else finds them. Who should be finding them? What password should they know? Those sorts of things. A list of all the vendors and people that you're dealing with, purchasing or procuring supplies. Again, they're going to miss you if you're not here. So a letter to them would be nice. But if you do have someone taking over your company, just that they have a sense of where you've got stuff. I know we've got something as simple as name tags. Like, where do you get your name tags made, right? Or whatever it is that you're doing. A list of key stakeholders and important contacts. Can you think of anything else? Just put in the chat box if there are things that I'm missing in here, because I want you to have a full list of what's available. But these are just the practical things of activities that you should be constantly be thinking about in regards to what are you leaving behind. Because just before we go into the health entrepreneur's prescription for this stage, are you guys feeling okay? Everything good? Okay. Yep. Yep, good. Okay. So your prescription is looking at the succession plan. What is your exit strategy? So again, even if you are a solopreneur right now, everyone should have some ideas of what else you could be doing or what you're going to go to or anything. I had the best time figuring out during my last year of school. We had to put together, or I had an opportunity to write a paper around my succession plan. And I came up with several ideas of things that could happen to my business. And the most important reason I did that, so I never feel trapped. I don't want any of us to ever feel trapped in our work. If all of a sudden we get to the end of our work today, let's just say we're not making enough money. We've tried everything we can. We need to make more money. I'm going to have to go back and be an employee for someone else, okay? The first thing I want you to do is give yourself a high five for really trying and doing your best, because by being here, you're doing absolutely everything you possibly can. The second thing I want you to do is be okay to move to that next step and to find the best possible job you could ever find that would bring you so much joy and meaningfulness, because new opportunities await. So that could be an example of a succession plan for you, and every person should have that. That's one of mine, for sure. If this business doesn't continue to fulfill me and I want to go and have an opportunity to work with someone else and learn from them at new sites, I should be able to do that. So it's on my list. The second one that I came up with was converting my company to a nonprofit. So I'm in an interesting situation where there are some nonprofit music therapy companies. The reason I haven't converted to a nonprofit to this stage is because I don't feel that's the best professional decision that I can make. I don't feel it's the best profession, like going to help my industry. And so that's why I'm not doing it. But it does need to be on my list as an option, because if something happened to me, someone else needs to know that's an option for them too. So it's there. Another option is selling my company. And that was a really interesting thing to look at. I went through every step to sell my company, including meeting with someone last Christmas to discuss with them the purchase of my business. No word of a lie. It was another charity that's much larger than my organization. Like, they just have more people involved. And my business would be a really nice fit within their charity as the social enterprise arm. So it would be the profit portion of their business. And I could see the fit, and I wanted to propose it to them. Now, the good news is they actually didn't want to buy it, and I actually didn't want to sell it. But I did, or actually, I don't want to sell it. But I did want to go through the process, because you know what that did for me? It got my financials looking fantastic. It got my business plan looking sharp. It gave me a way of presenting myself and getting excited about sharing my company to what it was going to be about. So I want you to think about what other options you have for your business, or does it just close down? And that's okay too. But what does that look like? Because if we're planning our legacy ahead, we all have to be thinking about what are the next steps when we're not there. What are the next steps? This is me and my mom. This was day 12, walking the Camino de Santiago. What you don't see in this picture is in my mom's left foot. She's the one on the right. Her left foot, those shoes, she has had to cut a slit on the side of the shoe because her foot is so badly injured and it's swelling, right? And so she's had to slice the left part of her shoe. And when you walk the Camino de Santiago, you can only really take one pair of shoes that you're wearing and flip-flops, because everything you own is on your back. And the trek can be as long as you want. For us, it was 2 weeks. And here we are. Every part of us is hurting. And you might think we're holding each other's hand because we love each other. At this point, actually, I think we both hated each other for doing this together. We are holding each other to literally hold each other up because we cannot believe we have to go up these stairs. And what was really amazing is that people we knew were behind us, and they took this photo. And I am so grateful for those moments of people capturing, shining the light up high. So the light is shining on us when we needed it at most, right? Which was this photo that I can now share. And I think we got up that hill, which was the last of that day. And I think that day was 25-kilometer walk up and down the mountains and over things like this. And it was just a lot. That's part of these obstacles that we're going to go through. But it was again a reminder of that mantra that I didn't know if I was going to make another day. I didn't know if I was going to make another minute at that point. But you can keep moving forward. Even on those days in our businesses, as we're sitting there sobbing, and I know all of you have done it, crying there isn't enough money, crying because you inadvertently heard a situation and a communication and did it wrong, sent an email you should never have sent. Something has happened that you regret and feel some shame for, or that you just sheer didn't know if you had the sheer capacity to move through it. I assure you, you can at least take one step forward. One step. And Mom and I obviously had a few more steps to go, but we were able to do it. So what's your legacy? What are you leading? And what are you leaving ahead? As you're moving through your next steps, where are you going? Again, I ask myself those questions. Why am I here? And where am I going? And I'm really hoping the 9 steps that we have talked about over these classes have been very useful to help getting you there. It's because of Granny and Granddad. It's because of Gwen. It's because of my family. It's because of my friends. It's because of these guys in front of you, which is my team, that I've been able to get as far as I've gotten so far. I feel so grateful to every person who has taught me something. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Some of them really ouched. So am I grateful for it? No, but I see the value of a lot of those things. And it's because of that, our company's now serving 165 organizations, over 2,000 clients a week. We are seeing, we are infiltrating our community in a way, allowing our community to also feed us. I hope we've made a difference to our community too. That's been very important to me. And it has helped not staying focused on all the stress and all the angst that does come up, that we fail faster, that we move through it, that we lean into it, all the things we've been talking about, and stay focused on that next step that we can take. And I want that for you too. I don't want you to think these moments are too much. I want you to feel like I can do it because I know others are going through this too. The gift you carry for others is not an attempt to save the world, but it's to fully belong to it. The offering of that gift is the most you can do to love and serve the world. And it's all the world needs, is to share that love. We're going to open up today to all of you because that's all I have. That's all I can offer you at this point. Maybe a few years from now, I'll have more information, but I know that I've laid out everything I know on the table during our 9 classes and in my book. I would love to hear from you now as to what more you need before we close these classes off. And for those that are not able to be here, I know that they're listening to the recording, so it would be nice, instead of you putting it into chat, if you could actually say it out loud today so we can get some of these final questions. And we've got such a nice amount of people online today. Thank you so much. So, questions, comments, and also, just so you know, I will put the survey online later today for you to complete after others have listened to the recording. So you can help me with what my next steps are with the Health Entrepreneurs Hub. Thank you all. Your turn.
That was great, Jennifer. Thanks so much. This is something I've been thinking about a lot lately.
Yeah.
I've spent the last, actually with my close friend, Sarah, we've did a 6-week plan this year to get all these details of our lives in order. We continually make plans. We've been doing it for probably 10 years, and every 6 months or whatever, we say, what are our goals for the next window? And then we support each other achieving them, because there's so many details that are important, but not necessarily priorities.
Mhm.
So in this plan, it was not for business, it was actually for our personal lives.
Totally. Yeah.
But things like updating our household binder with information for our children, or updating our finance binder with lists of accounts, updating our wills,
And
updating
how,
our digital files, everything. It's so much. And
and
it's
did you
just,
find it morbid, Andrea, or did you find it comforting? Somewhere in
oh,
between.
um, I actually find that when these things are dealt with, which I'm not complete, I'm really good at putting my head in the sand over things. Um, but when they're complete, the result is that I feel more present and able to enjoy my life right now. So there's such a peace. And then both of us find that as soon as we do these things, it becomes addictive.
No,
Like, so we do our, I don't know, life's just busy, you know? We have kids, we have spouses, we both have businesses, you know, our homes, or we don't have staff looking after them, you know, we're always going in 10 different directions.
yeah.
And so our things even included making a budget, figuring out how to get our family on track with tracking expenses, things like that.
Well, that's,
And I find we just both find that as soon as you get rolling with these things, you just want more. And then I actually feel happier and more relaxed.
and I love that you have an accountability partner too. I think that's a really important part. So,
Yeah. And her and I, we just, there's no judgment. We can walk into each other's homes or look at each other's situations, and they're messy or whatever, and we both just feel embraced and loved and supported, and it's fantastic. I recommend it to anyone.
thank you. Thank you. Great. Anybody else have some comments or thoughts about leaving a legacy ahead?
Hello, everyone. This has been a wonderful journey together. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for facilitating this as always. I have a couple things. It's kind of funny that you've mentioned mantras. I also resonate with mantras, and I found my new one today, actually. It just kind of landed in my lap. It is choose to turn your day into art.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and I like you, I don't know where it came from. I'm not sure if it's a combination of like words from multiple places.
Totally
Yeah, it just landed this morning, which was lovely.
love it.
hmm
Beautiful.
Yeah, one thing that I'm feeling lately is the balance of giving to my clients, like shining guiding light on my team. I've part of our contracts, I have subcontractors, and part of our agreements is that I have created a space for, and I get paid for this, I guess, and integrate it into my schedule to be able to support them, provide resources for them when they need it. I just value, I mean, everyone needs to get taken care of, I guess, or have a support. And I feel like if they feel like they're supported and they're healthy, that they can serve our clients in a well-rounded way, I guess. So I guess I'm kind of just I'm just feeling tired, and I guess what is the point of
Hmm.
yeah, there's a line, I guess, between like saying I'm here for you, I want to take care of you, but I just want to say like no sometimes, like especially
Yeah,
recently.
and
So
and
and like how much personal disclosure can you say to
yeah,
say, like I've had a tough winter, I don't want to deal with
yeah.
stuff. I don't know how else to word that, but I know this is a safe space to say that.
I probably wouldn't actually disclose that, Mackenzie. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's necessary, but I think it's good to say to yourself, I've had a tough winter, so yeah, I'm going to be saying no to more things. Just let people know that your life is full this second and you're going to loop back to them in a few months.
Yeah.
Keep up with all those things. But I think it's okay as entrepreneurs to pull back at any time we need to take on a couple of new things that we want to do, to say no to things, even though it might be good for our company to say yes to those things. We might not be in a place as the 100% shareholder where we can do it. And I thought it was also interesting when Tony Bennett said he's holding the light up,
Mm-hmm.
it means that it's still shining on him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
so if we aren't feeling we can actually raise the light up because we're tired, then that means we need to still hold the light a little bit closer to us till we feel better to rise it up for others.
Yeah, totally.
But I
Yeah.
don't think we should disclose too much. I am going to say that because I have talked to business owners who then make me feel as a customer that I wasn't worth them getting over it for, you know, and that doesn't feel good as a customer.
No,
And
totally.
that's not
Yeah.
our goal. But I think it is to say, oh, what a great idea. I can't do it right now. Really, really full. I'm going to loop back to you in a couple of months. I do it all the time.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I have never disclosed what happened with me this winter with my team. But there's a part of me that like I value authenticity and realness. So I feel myself wanting to go there. And I'm like, where is this line of just being real with them? Because they're real with me. And so, yeah,
Totally.
those boundaries are weird. And
Totally. Now, with your team, it's a little bit different than customers, right?
yeah, that's true.
Your team, I think it is okay to disclose a little bit more. You don't have to go through the details. Say, guys, I've gone, if you don't want, but
Yeah.
I do disclose to my staff, gosh, guys, I got to tell you, I'm going through something tough right now. And the thing is, because they don't hear that from me very often, they know it must be tough and say, I'm not willing to talk about it right now, but I am going to talk about it at our next management retreat or something because I'm also learning something right now, but I just can't talk about it yet.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
I just have one more question, then I'll pass the torch.
Yeah.
So what's like I guess my worry with like disclosing something is like then team members may be like, oh, then I can't disclose more with you because I don't want you to give more of a burden for you if something comes up during this time when you're going through something tough.
Right.
So
Um,
like, yeah, it's weird.
right. It is interesting, isn't it? I don't think that's how it works, though. I think that's how
Okay.
it works, but I don't think that's what it is. I still have staff that go, oh, Jen, I don't want to put any more pressure on you. I still have that, but that's more about them than it is about me. They don't want to do that sometimes. And because I will always be quick to say, actually, I want to hear it. Right. So it's
Mhm.
about how you then follow up and say, guys, I don't want you to stop sharing things with me because I love to hear
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That helps.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I kind of want to
Hi.
I kind of want to follow along with the sharing quotes thing. And so I'm going to read one. It's a little longer than what you guys have shared so far, but it really helped me through processing something this summer. Winter, what?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel you, Mackenzie. um, it's by Brene Brown, right? Who's has a new Netflix special, and I highly recommend it. But her quote is, "Regret is a tough but fair teacher.
Hmm.
To live without regret is to believe you have nothing to learn,
Hmm.
no amends to make, an opportunity to be braver." So, because I felt like I missed something
Hmm.
back in the late fall, and I've been struggling with it through, I guess, the better part of this first half of the year. But at the same time, I've always had to remind myself that had a lot of medical conditions over the last 3 years that it just didn't, like, this organization just wasn't meant to be, because I was trying to work with them while everything was going on, and then just kind of dropped in my lap that they had moved on.
Yeah.
And so there's still some unresolved pieces, but I think with the organization itself, that chapter is closed. But I really did find some peace in that. And I always loved the one about the tribe, find your tribe when, coming off of CAMT earlier this few weeks ago. I always enjoy thinking of that one at CAMT.
And you know what, Kylie? We do miss things, right? We're all going to miss an opportunity that, yes, it could have been really important. I don't like playing this game. Oh, it's for something better is going to come along. You know what? It might have been great. The one that I missed might have been absolutely great. What I did gain out of it is I've learned some things around my process around that. And yes, more good things are going to come. And yes, I've learned things. And that's where we got to hold on that we've all done that. I was just reminded this morning, actually. So one of the musical therapists who has one of our jobs, right, which is a fairly large contract, and this particular woman's been practicing as long as I have, but has never gone to school. But she's been around forever, and her and I will communicate once in a while, and there's not animosity there. And this other contract hired her because she was cheaper. And it's been hard that she has been there. But I've had to look at that. Yeah, it may have been, I could have fought for it harder way back in the day and made a better case and done things and done that. But instead, I decided to look to what's now available instead of what's already pretty much gone out of my hands. And for you, yeah, this one's gone. And if you continue putting energy there, you're not putting full energy into the next thing. And you need to. You need to put your full energy into the next thing. Otherwise, you're just going to have half-assed future opportunities. And I don't want that for anybody. Every future opportunity deserves 100% of your energy. And that means that you really do need to learn, live, and move on. You have to. Okay? And you got this. You got this, Kylie.
I do. And it's just, I like that we're bringing up quotes today. I kind of wanted to bring that up. You're right. Since CAMT, I've come home and I'm closing a series of daycares currently. They called while we were even on the class today. So I got to do that this afternoon.
Fantastic. Okay. Awesome. Anybody else have any comments, questions, another mantra? I love it all.
Hi, Jennifer, it's Karen.
Hi, Karen.
Well, I made a little note that this is moving. Yeah, like I just found myself like it was so emotional. You were just so present with us, and thank you so much. What's staying with me is the images. You know, like that one of you and your mom going up the stairs. Sometimes it really does feel like that. That I've got so many systems that I need to put into place that, you know, I know it's just one step, you know, and then the next one, because this was all about systems, really. Like, we need our systems in place if we're going to, like, have our legacy move ahead.
That's right.
Yeah.
And make a decision. Like, we need those in place so we can more easily make a decision. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then I got kind of like, well, I'm looking over 2,000 clients a week you have, and 165 organizations. And I'm here like with, okay, 5 arms of this, you know, that I feel like is too much for my business, right? Because, and I think, whoa, like that's what I'm trying to do is go, okay, how can I just go down to like 3 arms of the business?
Right. And do those incredibly well and deep. And this is where the personalization in our business is so incredibly important, that we are creating the business that we're meant to create and to have and to foster. It's not about what other people are doing, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember that one slide, if you about Lady Diana, where I was saying how during the self-care one, she was serving 107 as an ambassador, 107 charities as their ambassador. And then she's having to write a letter that she knew she could only handle 6.
Yeah.
And she had to counsel 101 of them.
Mhm.
I don't want us to get to the place where we're having to backstep that far. But if we're having to backstep a little in order to fully do what we're meant to be doing, I feel that's okay. So long as we're not avoiding the challenge. If it's just we're avoiding a challenge, then you might want to sit with it for a bit.
Right. Yeah, so I decided on which arm I was going to pull out of, and then they said, you know, then it happened anyways. You know, they said the
Right.
money is not there, so I'm going, okay, good, that's easy.
Yep. Natural. I love those ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
that's Karen. Great reminders.
mhm.
Thank
Thank you. I've loved this.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, everybody. If anyone else wants to go, we've got like 2 more minutes. Otherwise, we'll just wrap her up. I will be leaving the hub exactly as it is till the end of the month, like on the Facebook page, so you can go there till the end of the month. I will be putting the survey up there. I will be asking for feedback. We will make some decisions as to the information that's there. How am I going to, like, I'm going to decide how I'm going to manage all that. So, so don't panic. No, nothing's disappearing today. Yes. Is there a way to continue this community through informal monthly video chats or something? I love all that. So as I put together the survey, I would love all your comments to go into there so I can just be putting together, you know, what are the next steps, you know, for this group, but also hopefully some future groups. I want to thank you all. Keep well. I will talk to you soon. Thanks.